Hi, this is the Peace Journey, and I'm Victoria Thorpe. It's September 18th on the Peace Journey, and we are in Olympia. We finished walking, we started in Burien, went through Renton and on to Kent today, but we drove down to Olympia to meet up with a contact here, and I will let him introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Garret Havens, and I live here in Olympia.
And Garret is going to answer the question that we've been asking along this journey. Why do we have the death penalty? And I'm going to add to it, do you agree or disagree with that fact?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons why we have the death penalty here in Washington State and in the U.S., of course. First off, I think it's a bit of a relic from the past, kind of an eye for an eye type of philosophy that some people tend to have. But I also think it springs from a general philosophy that people have in this country that actually, like, revenge and vengeance is an acceptable way of enacting justice. And I personally don't support the death penalty. I think it's very unjust to kill another human being. For me, I think justice should always seek to right wrongs and fill any voids that are created by wrongs. And to me, the state murdering an individual just creates more of a void in other people's lives. I think most people would agree that one of the biggest tragedies to come out of the death of an individual is the pain that it causes in other people's lives. And that's true whether it's a person, just a person doing it or the state doing it. I think when the state chooses to execute people, that they create a void in a lot of people's lives. They create a lot of pain, and that in itself is an injustice. So that's my number one reason for opposing the death penalty, not only in Washington State, but all across the U.S.
And do you have any information that you know about the financial issues with the death penalty?
Well, I mean, I certainly know that as it stands right now, for sure, it costs more money to put somebody on death row than it does to incarcerate them for life. So, right there, it's a huge financial burden on the state and on taxpayers in particular to have the death penalty in Washington State. We eliminate that, and that's going to save us some money, and that's a good thing in the times that we live in, because the budget's in a place right now, the state budget's in a place right now where we could use extra money for more important things, like helping the environment, funding our schools, which has been a big problem recently with the McCleary decision, and a bevy of other things that I think would be a much better use of our time, energy, and resources than supporting something like the death penalty.
Violence. One person I met yesterday is originally from the Philippines, and he was surprised to hear that we have the death penalty. He said they had outlawed it many years ago in the Philippines, and I know that most of the modern world who endorses human rights has outlawed the death penalty. Don't we, the United States, endorse human rights? And what do you think of us not outlawing it yet?
I think we're very selective in the human rights that we endorse here in the United States. I think it's really too bad that we haven't. Like I said, I think the reason why we haven't outlawed the death penalty and abolished it is because I do think that there's a lot of people who think that murdering is a form of justice, that justice can be found by murdering another individual, and it's just right now I think that we've kind of lost our way here in the U.S. in terms of human rights in general, and I think we actually still have a lot to learn in this country when it comes to human rights and how we treat people and how we seek out justice as a nation.
So do you think maybe more citizens need to participate in their society and their government?
I think a lot more citizens need to be educated about the fact that they can be engaged with in their communities, with their society, with their government. I think that a lot of people have been taught in this country that they shouldn't speak up, that they should just kind of fall in line and do what they're told. And what we really need is to have more people that are being engaged within their communities, more people who are educating themselves, and more people who understand that that they not only have a right, but to a certain degree, even an obligation to stand up for those who are who are disadvantaged and who are being abused by our state.
So the bill that will be introduced this coming session, January 2014, would you support that bill and ask and want your legislators to support ending the death penalty this year?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we should end the death penalty immediately. I don't think it doesn't do anything good for the state of Washington, and if anything, I think it's doing a lot of harm in this state.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to talk with us and for being the kind of person who gets involved and wants to make changes that helps everyone be safe. I appreciate it so much, and we'll say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much, and please let us know what you think at Facebook or at the blog, carrielyndalton.blogspot.com, or email us, fellowshipofpeacefoundation@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, comments and questions, and we'll keep on the education. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.